Hi, it's Rachel with Minji, and today she and I are going to go over off and meeting new people. Of course, those kind of go hand in hand, and this will hopefully help you with your healing. How you say Minji doesn't heal well with other people around. She gets too excited, too worked up. By teaching her how to properly meet someone, and if you are really good with practicing it with her and never letting her get away with jumping up on people or pulling you to meet them, then she will respond differently when she does see people. Now, if she's nervous with people, what this technique for meeting new people can do for you is it can let Minji see that you're in charge and that you're in control of the situation. So she doesn't have to be fearful, she doesn't have to protect you. You're in control, and so as long as you're taking the lead, hopefully she'll learn to be okay with that. So first of all, I want to work on off with her, because I know when she does get too excited, she does start jumping, and since she is a bigger dog, we want to work on that. Now, I have this slip lead on Minji now, so she doesn't she can't get out of it. If she pulls, it will just tighten right up. And I have her leash with her halty collar off to the side. Off. I'm going to pull that out, and that will probably cause her to jump up on me. Now, if it doesn't, I don't want to encourage her to jump up on me, because that can be really confusing if I first tell her to jump up on me and then I correct her for it. So, I'm just going to try to inadvertently tempt her to do so. Now, with the jumping, what we don't want to do is we don't want to push or let her do it. We want to remove ourselves from underneath her. If we just walk back like this, she can put her weight into us and walk on two legs with us. So that's why we turn our body, because we're just moving ourselves from underneath her feet and she falls down. If we push her, it can become like a game to her, and we're doing the action for her instead of her doing it. So we just want to say off and turn ourselves to bring ourselves out from underneath her feet. Now, we also don't really want to give her a lot of attention. A firm off, and part of turning away gets us out from underneath her, but it also sets us up to kind of ignore her. Because usually dogs jump because they want attention from us. And so if we don't give them attention, we don't want to give them any kind of attention, they'll learn that that's not an effective way to greet us. And they aren't going to get what they want by doing that, so in turn they'll learn not to do it. Now, another thing that you can do is when you anticipate her jumping, or depending on where she puts her feet, kind of bring your knee up. Now, if you see me doing this is not to knee her in the chest or anything like that. It's just to kind of shield my body, and I'll come and turn myself away. So, I'm going to start petting her, see if she'll jump up at all as we're like walking around. Minji, come here. Good girl. Come on. Might pull out a treat, see if that causes her to jump up. Minji. Oh, she's very off. She's very respectful with the treats for the most part. Good girl! Nicely. Minji. Good girl. Okay, so she focuses well with the treats. Now, like with the treat, how as soon as I pull a treat out, Minji, she sits down. That's what we want her to do when she wants attention from you instead of jumping, or when she's meeting a new person or a new dog. So it puts you in control. You can tell her when she can get up from her sit. Good girl. Okay, now I'm going to grab her collar and gentle lead her. Off. Good girl. Off. Good girl. See, just with a couple of firm off, she's already doing a lot better. Off. Good girl. Okay, she's doing really well. Sit. Good sit. Good sit, Minji. Okay. Alright, she's doing great. Now she sat nice and calmly while I put the leash on her, which when I first brought her out here on this leash, she didn't do that for me when I tried to get it on. So, just with a little bit of consistency, just in the past few minutes, and getting the leash on her once off camera, she's already doing really well. Okay, so off. We're going to work with this leash since it's what she's most used to. So I've kind of shown you the basics for off and giving you an example of that. So we're going to go over meeting new people and new dogs. So what I kind of hinted at earlier is when she wants something, when she wants to meet someone or meet a new dog, instead of having her pull or anything like that, we want her to sit. Just like every time I bring a treat out, she automatically sits. So it's the same kind of response that we want. Even though she's really excited about this treat and really wants it, she is sitting quietly and respectfully until she gets it. Good girl. She's not jumping all over me, which is good. So, what you can do is, even if you're not heeling, if you're taking her out for a walk and letting her go in front of you, do all that, anytime you stop, put her in a sit. So, therefore, if someone comes up to you, anything like that, she's already sitting and you're already in control and ready to instruct her. Sit. Now, if we were heeling or just on a walk, we see a person down the street, maybe they're walking their dog too, and Minji starts to get excited. So, you're just going to put her in a sit like this and wait for them to approach you. Now, of course, always ask them first if it's okay if your dog says hi to their dog, because it could be a dog aggressive, could be sick, anything like that. So you want Minji's safety in mind. Or they might not be able to handle their dog, so they might not want the dogs to meet. So when she's sitting like this, if she is jumping, pulling, won't sit, whining, anything like that, after a couple minutes of trying to calm her down, if she's not responding to that, just say, we're working on manners and I'm sorry, but my dog doesn't get to meet your dog today. And you continue. That way Minji will learn that she doesn't get to meet that new dog if she's not sitting quietly. Now when she's sitting quietly like this, we can tell her that it's okay to say hello. So how you do that is you just step forward, pull the leash forward, point and tell her to say hello, like this. Minji, say hello. See? And if there was another dog, she would go up to that dog, which is what you want. Now, after that happens, you want to let the dog sniff for about 5 to 7 seconds, as long as everything looks okay. After 5 to 7 seconds, the interaction can usually turn into playing or fighting, which you don't want either. You want to continue on your walk. But them getting to sniff each other is kind of like exchanging business cards. It's just getting, the bare basics of the information you need. Just basic information, where you've been, where you live, what you had for breakfast, stuff like that. The dogs can tell from sniffing each other all over. Now, if there's a person that Minji's going to meet, you can do a similar thing as well. So you want to pull her up, Minji sit, and tell her to sit. Now, if the person is usually, right about here, that's the kind of distance we do. We want Minji to be in control. We don't want her whining or anything like that. Now, if this is, say when you're dropping her off here at daycare, and if she's a little too anxious to whoever's coming out to take her into the back, if she's whining, dancing, not staying still, put her in a heel and make her heel in a circle. So, say Minji is being too anxious and too excited. Minji heel. Good heel, good girl. She knows her heel well. What you can do is a tight left-hand circle, which will have you turning into her with that leg trick that I showed you yesterday, and that can really get her attention. If you're really forcing yourself upon her like that, then she's going to realize she needs to start paying attention to you if she doesn't want to get stepped on, and so it will help kind of calm her down and focus her. Now, once she's sitting calmly and behaving the way you want her to behave, as a reward, you can tell her to say hello. Now, also what you can do is you can have the person approach her and ask her to shake. People love that. They love getting to interact with her, and it gives Minji an extra task to do. If she's sitting and has a foot off the ground, she's a lot less likely to jump up. And of course, if she does jump on that person, a lot of times with a cute dog like Minji, they'll let it happen and they'll be petting her. As her owner and her handler, you don't want to let that happen. So if she does that, you can tell her off. If you have her on leash, you can give her, a sharp pop on the leash and tell her off, or do other physical corrections. So one thing you can do the Cesar Millan type thing with just a flat hand like this. You just want to poke her in her flanks and tell her off with the tips of your fingers. Now that's a sensitive area on her. It doesn't hurt her, but it will get her attention. Or you can do that right behind her ears, kind of where this halting collar goes. Same goes for if she's around the house, jumping up on a table, putting her feet up on a couch or anything like that. You just go up to her, tell her off, and give her a quick poke. So that's how you can work on meeting new people and new dogs with Minji, and working on the jumping. Now, if she learns to always sit and you're always going to control her interactions with people that she meet on the leash, that should really help with her healing in the long run, of being able to heal. Nope. She was barking there, so I'm just turning her around, getting her mind off of it, getting her mind on me. Sit. Good girl. Good girl, Minji. All right, that was good. See, she's still looking at that dog, but she's being quiet. She's not being antsy at all, so that's what you want to see. Just to finish up, by you being in control of her interactions, it will help condition her and teach her to not have the negative reactions that you don't like now when she meets people while walking or healing. This was Rachel and Minji, and we're working on off and meeting new people and new dogs.